Hey everybody, it's David McCree, CPA, the nonprofit tax guy. Another year has gone by and small nonprofit organizations are now trying to figure out what type of a return they need to file to make the IRS happy. So for a nonprofit organization, there's three kinds of returns that you might have to file. A 990, a 990 EZ for smaller organizations, and if the organization's gross receipts are normally $50,000 or less for the year, the organization may be eligible to file the Form 990N, which is an electronic postcard. There's no paper form. And of course, if you're a private foundation, you file the 990PF. There is no 990N or electronic postcard for a private foundation. So I want to talk to you today about the Form 990N. I'm getting quite a few calls from organizations saying, we need help filing our Form 990N, or they think they have to file the 990EZ. And after I talked to them about it, we realized that they are eligible for the Form 990N. And of course, that saves them, at least $600 or $700, and they're always happy to learn that. So the Form 990N, as I said, is an electronic postcard. It's supposed to be something that's easy for a small organization to file. It doesn't require financial information. You don't have to have an income and expense statement and a balance sheet and all that. It's filed on the IRS website, or it can be filed with professional tax software. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is, well, how do you know if your annual gross income is normally $50,000 or less? And that is the phrase they use, normally $50,000 or less. Well, there's a special way to calculate it. And so I'm going to just pull up on the screen here. This is the instructions to the 2018 Form 990 EZ. Okay, and it explains when you are eligible to file the Form 990N. Okay, so essentially there are three situations. First of all, you have to understand that gross receipts means all the income that the organization has received during the year before you subtract any expenses, including cost of goods sold if you sold any merchandise. Just the total income. And of course, that doesn't include money that you transferred in from your savings account or money that you borrowed. Okay, we're talking about income, contributions, or money from a fundraising event, or merchandise that you sold, a concession stand, food sales, book sales, program sales, conferences, that type of thing, all that income added up. Now, if your organization is up to a year old, and it's received or the donors have pledged to give $75,000 or less during the first year, then you would be considered to have normally $50,000 or less in gross receipts, because this is a 3-year average. Okay, so normally what you do is you add up your gross receipts for 3 years, divide by 3, and if it's $50,000 or less, you file the 990N. Okay, so which 3 years do you add up? Well, let's say you're about to file the 2018 Form 990N or EZ, whatever. So you would add your 2018 gross receipts. To that, you would add your 2017 and your 2016 gross receipts. Okay, so you add the year that you're going to file plus the previous 2 years. Divide by 3. If it's $50,000 or less, you're most likely going to be eligible to submit the Form 990N instead of in lieu of a 990 EZ or a full Form 990. So let's look at the other things. What if your 2018 was your first year? Well, so you haven't been in existence for 3 years, right? So you can't have a 3-year average. So they give you a special rule here, which we just went over, 75 or less during the first tax year. It's important to realize that that also includes pledges, okay? So it's an accrual-based calculation for the first year, all right? What about if you're more than a year old and up to, you're between 1 and 3 years old? So if that's the case, you add up your gross receipts and you're going to divide by 2, and if it's $60,000 or less, then you would be eligible to file the 990N. If you're 3 years old or more, and then it's, you divide the 3 years by the gross receipts for all 3 years, divide by 3, and if it's 50,000 or less, you're eligible. So I go through all that because it's very common for me to get calls from organizations that are just operated for 3 months during 2018, for instance, and they're not sure what to file or how to calculate their gross receipts, or maybe they're just 2 years old. So this is, where am I getting this from? This is in Appendix B to the Form 990EZ instructions for 2018, in Appendix B, and it's the $50,000 gross receipts test. Okay, let me just scroll here and look. It's page 28 of the 2018 instructions. I also get calls from organizations that say, well, we were supposed to file our Form 990N last year and we didn't do it, and we went on the IRS website and tried to do it and it wouldn't let us. It will only let us file the 2018 return. It won't let us file the 2017 return. And that's correct. The IRS website is very limited. You can only file, the current year return. If you want to file a prior year return, you have to get a tax return preparer that has professional software. Okay. To file on the IRS website, you have to go and register for an account. It's free, and go through their password rigmarole, and then you can file it. If you're comfortable with the IRS and comfortable with websites, there's no reason that you can't do it. But a lot of people don't want anything to do with the IRS. And so if that's the case, or if you're not sure what to do, or you're afraid you're going to make a mistake and you want help with it, I will be more than happy to help you file your Form 990N. If you'd like to have a Form 990N filed for past years, I can do that. I can file up to 2 prior years using my tax software. What if you're late? If you're late filing Form 990N, there is no monetary penalty. They'll probably send you a notice and say, hey, how come you didn't file your 990N? But there's no monetary penalty. However, if you fail to file it for 3 years in a row, then you automatically lose tax-exempt status, and you don't want that to happen. And there's no extension available with Form 990N. Okay, so you can't request an extension. So if you missed the deadline, just go ahead and file it as soon as you can. If you need help, call me or email me. Actually, the best way to get in touch with me is to go to my website. Let me pull it up here. Just nonprofittaxguy.com. Okay, and then just click on contact. And sometimes it takes a minute for the form to load, but there is a contact form there for me. And also my phone number is on that page. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Don't hesitate to reach out if you'd like help. It may be that you qualify for the 990N this year, but next year you'll be needing to file the Form 990EZ. Probably now is a good time to give me a call and talk about your situation and maybe line up something for next year so you have somebody to help you out. All right? This is a little longer than I intended for it to be, but hopefully there's some good information there for you. Good luck with the filing.